According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, food is a psychological need. This need has to be fulfilled for human to basically function. In 2018, it was found that 161 eggs were consumed per person around the world. Eggs in particular can carry very harmful bacteria, which can cause food poisoning when it is not handled properly. Food security, as defined by the Food and Agriculture Organization, is the situation where everyone has the physical and economic means to meet the needs of their preferences of a healthy lifestyle. The picture on the right shows the three pillars of food security: their availability, accessibility, and utilization. Availability refers to how ready the food is, either by domestic sources or imported sources. Accessibility, on the other hand, refers to how easy an individual can access this item. As for utilization, it refers to the people having the proper knowledge of how to prepare the food safely and with proper sanitation.
So this topic about food security led to the research about problems faced in this particular sector, specifically about the drop in food quality, whether it would be in the starting process, the harvesting of crops, its food, the food collection, grading the food, and most importantly, to store this food in their desirable conditions, mainly to prolong the lifespan and also the shelf life of these food products. So the topic to cover for our case study is about eggs because it is found to be a vital protein source to all consumers. However, the quality of eggs has dropped throughout the years because of the lack of quality control, not just in the egg production industry but also in other food security industries. So under the automation industry, we could develop a control system to overcome these challenges by allowing eggs to be graded and also stored upon desirable conditions. Therefore, the processes will cover the screening and also the storing stages by utilizing instruments such as controllers, sensors, and actuators in the control system. So why is this specific topic chosen? It has been seen that bad eggs have found to be relatively common without us knowing, even though they are being consumed, unless they are very obvious through the visible change in color and also in the smell. But what if they haven't gone through a lot or a huge change in colors and odor for us to even know that they have gone bad? It would actually lead to a few problems. The main problem is this salmonella disease, which actually causes consumers to experience bad diarrhea, vomiting, and also high fever. Since these eggs are widely collected and consumed, this disease has become a very important problem for us to look into, because eggs are often graded in the current market, but then there are no available control system that would actually cover the full quality testing of these eggs before even being graded. And most importantly, how long will they be stored in storage until they reach the shelf to be sold to consumers? So there are no available control system that will allow desirable storage conditions for not just eggs but also other food storage, other different types of food in the current market. Therefore, this causes the drop in food quality in the food security sector. Other than that, there are many other problems as well. This problem could also lead to the drop in food sustainability and would also disrupt the human basic needs, because all food are not well maintained or past the quality testing or the quality stage. So here are a few questions brainstormed during the research of this problem. Firstly, how do we determine the freshness of eggs? Bad eggs are actually caused by the development of bacteria in the eggs itself, and it will actually create a foul sulfur-like odor. And other than that, there will be change in color of the egg yolk, and also the thickness of albumin in the egg white will change, but this will be further discussed later on. And the second question is, what are the ideal conditions to store eggs? They are suggested to be stored in airtight, cool environment and also a dry environment to allow less moisture in the surrounding. So after all this research methodology done and the plans to design a control system to mitigate this problem, you may ask, what is a control system? A control system is a device that will manage, control and also regulate specific processes upon different conditions. And it is a vital automation process in the industry, as this automation of these control systems need to be fast, efficient, and also reduce the need for operators. And also, here are some important requirements for control system. They are designed to be stable, fast, accurate, precise, reliable, and also cost efficient. So, in designing the control system to mitigate this problem, some parameters are needed to be taken into consideration. As you can see here in the diagram above, this is a general control system design which covers a few instruments such as the sensors, controllers, actuators, and to allow the functions to take place, which could either be designed in an open loop or closed loop configuration. As you can see down here, here are some examples of sensors which we have gone through and which we can utilize for our control system, and more on this will be explained by Kasik.
Two control systems were created. The first system will be used to check for the quality of the eggs, while the second system will be used to create an ideal environment for the storage of eggs. The color detection sensor will be used to detect the color of the egg yolk. The color of the yolk can be compared with the color from the DSM yolk frank to determine the concentration of carotenoid, which is a protein that gives the egg its signature yellow color. The Hall tester is a device that measures the Hall unit of an egg, and the Hall unit is a measurement that determines the quality of an egg based on the thickness of egg whites and the total weight of an egg. Thermostat is a device that can regulate the temperature of its environment. It detects changes in room temperature and changes the output of the cooling system to maintain consistent room temperature. And the optimal temperature for longer shelf life of eggs would be around 10 degrees Celsius. A humidity sensor measures the relative humidity of the room it's placed in. If the humidity of the room deviates too much from the ideal relative humidity, it will activate the humidifier connected to it to either humidify or dehumidify the room. Based on research, the relative humidity of air should be maintained between 70% or 80% for minimum bacterial growth on the eggs. The simple open-loop control system shown in this slide is designed to pick out the top quality eggs and filter out the bad eggs. At the start of this control system is the output to the controller. The controller is a device that can control the output of the machinery connected to it. In this case, we have the Hall tester and the yolk color detector. The Hall tester will measure the thickness and the weight of the eggs, and for the eggs that have high Hall unit, they will be moved to the second stage of the test. The yolk color detector will then measure the color of the egg yolk and compare it with the DSM yolk color band. The richer the yellow color is, the better the quality. The eggs that have dull color or pale yellow will be rejected, and those that pass both tests will then be the output of the system. The number of eggs that come out from the output of this system will indicate the percentage of good eggs from the chosen barn or factory. Since the test requires the eggs to be broken, a sample size large enough to give an accurate model of the good eggs from a particular source will be collected, and those eggs will be tested on with this control system. The second control system in this slide is designed to regulate the environment of the storage room for storing eggs. At first, the controller will set the desired condition, and as I mentioned before, the eggs should be stored at around 10 degrees Celsius and at relative humidity of about 70%. The controller will then send an actuating signal to the heater and the humidifier to control the surrounding condition, which will be the storage room for the eggs. The difference between the system for egg screening and the storage comes next. This control system has a feedback loop that sends feedback signals back to the summing point at the start. The feedback function contains the thermostat and the humidity sensors that can detect any changes in the surrounding condition. And the output from the summing point will then send the error signals back to the controller to adjust the output of the heater and the humidifier. This is called a closed-loop control system, which is a more complicated version of a control system. The feedback loop will ensure the desired condition will always be met.
Next is my explanation of the in-depth review of the developed control system. For the screening portion, a small sample size of each batch of eggs produced will undergo this system. The eggs must be cracked open before they enter the Hall tester. The Hall tester will measure the height of the albumen of the eggs, which is the egg white, and the weight of the eggs, and then it will return a value which indicates the grade of freshness of each egg, where A grade would be 72 or more, A would be 71 to 60, B would be 59 to 31, and C would be 30 or less. After the Hull tester, the eggs will go through the yolk color detection system. There will be an image processing unit which will identify the color of the egg yolks and categorize them based on the DSM yolk fan from a scale of 1 to 16, 1 being a pale color and 16 being the darkest color. The darker the color of the egg yolk, the more nutrition will be inside the egg yolk, and therefore increasing its value. We have our storage control system, which will maintain the ideal conditions for egg storage and increase the lifespan of the eggs and prevent them from going bad. The ideal temperature is 10 degrees Celsius, which will be maintained with the room heater and thermostat. Our ideal humidity will be set to 70% relative humidity, which will be maintained by the humidifier and humidity sensor. Next, I'll explain how our control systems will be useful for other fields, sectors, or industries. Restaurants and bakeries which use eggs and are looking to ensure that their food are safe to consume can consider products that undergo our control systems. This can also help them maintain the quality of their food. Our screening system can also be adapted for grading of other foods, such as fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Furthermore, our storage system can be adapted for other perishable foods to maintain their freshness during storage, such as meats and fruits. Finally, our control systems can be used as a certification standard to increase the value of products and also gain consumer trust when purchasing foods that are graded.
Now, there are several different types of food supplies that may be utilized by our control system. With respect to each of their optimal storage conditions, these food supplies can have their shelf life enhanced greatly while still preserving much of the taste and quality. Do note, however, that despite some of these food supplies being similar to each other, their shelf life and storage conditions may differ greatly. What may be suitable for one food supply may not be suitable for another, or may be even harmful. In conclusion, a proper food supply storage system will go a long way in improving food security. A system of screening, sanitizing, and grading food supplies would improve efficiency in regulating food products. This is to ensure that the safety, quality, and consistency of food supplies are delivered and consumed. Therefore, it is important for there to be a truly established system of food supply storage for the sake of food security. Not only can our control system be utilized for the sake of screening and storing eggs, it can also be used for other food supplies as well, such as meat, fruits, and vegetables. Meat, fruits, and vegetables can also undergo part of the screening processes that eggs go through. Tools such as thermal, humidity, color, and odor sensors can be used for the sake of determining the freshness and quality of these food supplies. Just like eggs, meat, fruits, and vegetables can also undergo the refrigeration and sanitization process to enhance their shelf life. They can also be wrapped up to enhance their shelf life and to avoid contamination. For example, as a fruit matures, it will release an ethylene oxide gas, which induces ripening. However, this gas will induce ripening in other nearby fruits as well, therefore leading to premature ripening. Premature ripening causes a decline in both taste and quality. On the other hand, cross-contamination can occur via meat fluids. When contaminated meat releases meat fluids, these meat fluids may contaminate other meats that are in contact with it. Therefore, this problem can be solved by wrapping up these meats and fruits. That is all from me. Thank you very much.